Good evening and welcome to News Night on Metro TV. I'm Isa Morning. The news is also live on channel 277 on DSTV. Let's see the headlines for tonight. And tonight, stakeholders welcome President Akufo-Addo's decision to suspend the DCE for Bosomi Frehun for his alleged involvement in illegal mining activities in his area. And business bounces back at Edum as traders reopen shops after meeting with Ashanti Regional Minister, who assures them that their concerns will be addressed. And on the foreign front, new UK Chancellor Jeremy Hunt warns of tax rises and squeeze on spending as he takes over from Kwesi Kwarteng. Hello again, and beginning the news tonight. The DCE for Bosomi Frehun in the Ashanti region, Yao Danso, has been suspended. In a letter signed by Dan Botry, the Minister of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, it indicated that the President has directed the suspension of the DCE pending investigations into his alleged engagement in illegal mining activities. It will be recalled that during his meeting with MMDCEs in Kumasi, President Akufo-Addo called out the DCE for his alleged involvement in Galamsey and told his colleagues that he would be questioned. Let's listen to the president.
Colleague in Bosomi Frehun, there have been public accusations about his involvement. He's been summoned by the Minister for Local Government to come and answer. Unfortunately, for him, it has coincided with the death of his wife. And apparently tomorrow is the first week, the 1 week celebration. So he has not been able to respond. But when the 1 week celebration is over, he will have to respond. And depending on the quality of his response, we will decide what the future holds for him. But that is the process that we're going to apply to anybody against whom allegations are made. An opportunity will be given to you to respond. If the response is not satisfactory, you can guess for yourself what the consequences will be.
And mining consultant Seth Wolashime says the suspension of the DCE signals government's commitment to the fight against Galamsey. But he was quick to add that more persons involved in the illegality must be brought to book.
Sort of sacked or sort of put on ice for the time being, I think should serve as a deterrent to others who are also involved in this kind of activities. It is not a complete solution to the problem, but at least it shows the commitment of the government to name and shame those who get themselves involved in this kind of activities. I'm sure there will be an investigation into the matter, and if he's found culpable, I think that the law must take its course. So that everybody will know that if you flout the rules, the law will take you on. And as we say in the legal parlance, nobody is above the law.
And all right, you're watching News Night, and joining us via phone is the convener of the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, Dr. Ken Ashigbe. Doc, good evening, and thank you for agreeing to speak to us.
Yes. Good evening.
I have followed your discussions on several media platforms, and you have not missed your words at all about what you want to happen. So what does the suspension of the DCE signal to you, sir?
Well, it's a first step, but it's an inadequate first step. So yes, you've suspended the person, but this person, from all the information we had on the tape, has sinned against the Minerals and Mining Act as amended. So beyond the suspension, that I see as an administrative measure. This is a criminal offense. And so by now you are hoping that the police would also have arrested this DC or MC and then start investigation that should lead to prosecution.
All right, so what would you expect to happen to other people who have been named as people who have been involved in illegal mining in the past?
Well, I think that one of the first people is Akonta Mining Limited, and then the two directors, Kwame Entry and Bernard Entry-Boesiakon, who is also called Bernard Boesiakon, who happens to be the chief executive of Akonta Mining. They have been named.
Yeah, okay, please go on.
They've been named by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources as having committed an illegality by mining in the Nimre Tunnel Reserve without a license. And then the Minerals Commission has confirmed that they do not have a license. We also know that the minister, that one of the deputy ministers had to go there, and they had to go and set ablaze some of the equipment, and some of the equipment, the more heavy equipment, have been driven to the Akonta mining sites outside the forest reserve. So there's no doubt about the fact that they are involved in an illegality. And if they are involved in an illegality, we would have been hoping that by now they would also have been arrested by the police. Some investigations started, and some prosecution also happening, and for us to serve as a deterrent to everybody.
So, Doc, we will talk about the statement that you released this week. But first, let me pick your opinion on the burning of the equipment that are seized by, by operators of government. What do you think?
Well, there's a law that talks about how equipment are supposed to be handled. But I also, so what then happens when, so the operatives go into these places and then they are unable to move the equipment out. We have the example in Elembele when the DCE got the equipment to move out and, asked the police to come guard the equipment. Unfortunately, the police left there and the two excavators were moved away, so what then should they do when they find these equipment in the theater of the criminality? So I get, conflicted in these situations, because in one set, the law is very clear how you deal with such equipment. It's supposed to be sent to the police. The case should go to court. The court will order a forfeiture. Then these equipment will be distributed to some elements of state and gazetted and all of that. But then you also have the situation where some of them, you find them in the thick of the forest, and by the time you leave them to go and bring a low bear, these criminals have come to take them. So for me, we need to find some pragmatic ways of dealing with them, but within the law.
Right, Doc. So let's go back to the statement that you released this week. I mean, not you as a person, but the Coalition Against Illegal Mining, which called for the suspension of small-scale mining activities. But this has also angered many stakeholders in that space, since they claim they are not part of the illegality. So can you please justify this specific proposition?
The first one about the banning?
Yes.
So it's not just about banning, it's about banning, because you see, the fact is that you are in the middle of a crisis that has led to your stability of water being 2,634. If you check the readings, the average readings in the Daboase water treatment plant, that is on the prowl. When the WHO is asking you to have turbidity around 5 NTUs, you have a situation where your cocoa is under attack. You have the situation where Cote d'Ivoire is saying that within, you are polluting their waters, and that could lead to cross-border conflict. So you are in a crisis. So definitely you need to put a halt to it. Look at, bring all stakeholders together, strategize how to do it. Areas where then you can then determine areas that, for without a doubt, there are people who are mining very legally, both small scale and some large scale miners. So our call is not only for small scale mining, but all surface mining and all, and all small scale mining to halt it. It's like we did not talk about how long it ought to be done. You need to immediately then gather all stakeholders, including political parties, both the NDC, the NPP, the technocrats who are in this, the academia, chiefs, the media, yourselves, the galamseers, small scale miners, large scale miners, and then be able to have a strategic roadmap that ensures that where the areas where the small scale mining, surface mining is going on properly and is controlled, you are able to then maybe get those people to start mining in a controlled manner. In the places where you need a longer time, then you hold on to those ones, and in the interim, you make sure that you're not, signing on any new leases or permits for anybody to mine again until you have a system and a structure in place to be able to ensure that you are able to control it. And you need time as well for your water bodies, to recover. You need some effort to be put into reclamation and restoration of the vegetation and all.
Right. So, Doc, I mean, you have been at the forefront of this fight against Galamsey, but also that Asantehene is on record to have met chiefs and called them out for being complicit. How else can the Asantehene, maybe other chiefs who are also against this illegal mining, contribute to tackle the menace?
Well, I think that it's a good thing that Asantehene has said. I think what we need to do is to move the next step and start pointing out the chiefs who are actually involved in this menace. A typical example is the DC for Lembele, the MC for Lembele, who stopped some people from engaging in illegal mining and then a chief then comes and says that these people, and he got the financiers arrested, and the chief comes to say that these people they were involved in desilting when these people were engaged in it. So such a chief, for example, he should be arrested immediately. And we need to be petitioning the Chief Justice that for the judge who was handling this case, because the MCE came and gave evidence that what the chief was saying was wrong, then you direct that they should go to an ADR when what we're doing is a criminal activity. So this judge, for example, as well, we should petition the Attorney General, the Chief Justice, for this judge to also be investigated and sanctioned. And the particular chief, for example, who went against the MC, for example, he is also promoting an illegality. And if you look at the Minerals and Mining Act, that is also an illegality. And that chief by now should also be arrested.
Right. So that's Dr. Ken Ashigbe, is the convener of Media Coalition Against Galamsey. Doc, we're grateful for your time and we thank you for contributing to our news tonight. Meanwhile, Seth Wolashime has described the deployment of military to clamp down on illegal mining activities in communities as a firefighting approach. The mining consultant believes the previous strategies employed by government did not yield the needed result. Hence, the launch of Operation Halt 11 will equally fail.
This week, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources Samuel Abujinapo announced that the government has deployed soldiers to communities where illegal mining activities are ongoing to help fight against the menace. He said the new military campaign would be a sustained effort until the Galamsey menace is dealt with.
We have had Operation Vanguard, we had Operation Halt 2 for about a year or so. There was a break, and on the instructions of the president, another Operation Halt 2 is being launched, and it was launched 2 days ago.
The effectiveness of this strategy has been questioned by several stakeholders, including mining consultant Seth Wolashime.
Putting soldiers, police in the bush, what do you hope to achieve? Go and check. I hear that when they come to the bush and they happen to seize your excavator, or you have an excavator, you have to pay them 30,000 Ghana cedis before they leave you. It is breeding corruption. And the earlier we stop this kind of ad hoc measures in trying to solve our problems that has a long-term effect, the better it will be for us.
The Media Coalition Against Galamsey, as part of its proposals, the government also wants all small-scale and surface mining activities to stop immediately to allow water bodies and forests to be restored. This has been shut down by the mining consultant.
In January and now, small-scale mining has brought into this country over $1 billion. We could have done more. Because of this fight, which is not discriminating between who is doing it illegally and who is doing it legally under license from Minerals Commission. We could have done more. And I bet you there is a correlation between the depreciation of the cedi and the fact that we are not making the correct revenue out of the small-scale sector. Some years past, we used to do $3, $4, $5 billion out of the small-scale activity. Can you imagine that amount of money coming into the system? It will be able to make the city stable.
Instead, he said the Minerals Commission should be empowered to deal with the menace.
Minerals Commission should be empowered, given the resources and all the logistics that they need to be able to police these activities. Thank God we have technology now. You can sit anywhere and fly drones and find out exactly what is happening on the ground and take sort of targeted action. So my solution is empower Minerals Commission. As we speak right now, Minerals Commission has only about 4 offices because they've zoned the whole country into 4. I would prefer Minerals Commission being in every district that there is mining. 1, so that they can supervise.
So let's stay on Galamsey, and a member of NDC's communication team, Fred Agbenyo, says government must show commitment to the fight against illegal mining by punishing government officials engaged in the menace. He said the president is only engaged in theatrics and not a Galamsey fight. He spoke in an earlier interview on Inside Pages.
To come on board to help fight this particular menace. But those who are directly in charge must inspire in us some confidence that they are ready to lead us to get to the bottom of the problem. By setting examples, those who are engaged in these things, calling them out, punishing them. You see, I get so sad when they go to the site and go and pick these young boys and young girls, mothers, and go and throw them in cells. When all of us knows very well that these are not, that there are big people behind them who are buying the excavators, who sits in Accra, who sits in Kumasi, who sits in Takoradi. Big people in society. These are the people we should look for. When an excavator comes to town, let's find out who the owner is. Who is the owner? Let us have the courage, regardless of your political affiliation. You can be MPP, you can be NDC, you can be CPP. We are saying that we are not interested in this again.
And the former member of parliament for Tema East, that's Titus Glover, has also, speaking on the same program, called on all Ghanaians to support the president in the fight against illegal mining. He, however, called on government to put in place policies that will control the use of excavators imported into the country.
Act 703, which was later amended in 2015, Act 900. Then later, it was also amended in 2019, 995. And the Minerals Commission Act 450. Clearly, the regulation is embedded there, where the Minerals Commission must deal as to how we are handling mining. So, for example, when you give somebody a reconnaissance license to go and do reconnaissance, and it's doing prospecting, then you, the officer or the Mineral Commission, you are not doing your work well. So clearly, I am happy that the minister said they should suspend all issuance of permits, whether reconnaissance or prospecting. They should stop it. Now, those on the ground who are working, the soldiers who are going, they will inspect. Are you a community license holder? You hold it. Are you doing reconnaissance or doing prospecting? They should look at all these things and deal with it.
And also in the news tonight, the Gomoa East District Assembly is clamping down on developers who have sited their structures on waterways. According to the district NADMO director, the move is to prevent flooding in the area. A temporary ban has been placed on some of the questionable projects as NADMO looks into permit documents.
Already, some of the projects in Gomoa East, like this one, in which the developer has encroached buffers around the N1 highway, have been halted. During a tour of the Gomoa East district, the NADMO director, Robert Hackman, warned that his outfit will soon resume the decongestion exercise it started earlier this year.
When you want to put up this huge structure, you need to get permit from the assembly. And number two, you see there's a stream here. At least you have to give a way, or let's say a waterway or a gutter, so that the water can have its free flow. But here is the case. They are just blocked everywhere. That is why we've come to ask him to put a stop to it, further notice.
He said structures that are sited on waterways, as well as all those without permits, will not be spared.
anywhere you see any illegal structure putting up on a waterway, we should just demolish it. So this is a sign of caution or a warning to we Ghanaians that anywhere you see that somebody is putting up a structure or a building illegally on a waterway, just draw the attention of NADMO or the municipal assembly there, and we will make sure we pull it down.
Let's go to the Ashanti region now, where the Regional Coordinating Council, led by the Regional Minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, has drawn a roadmap to settle the impasse between the Ghana Revenue Authority and aggrieved traders in Kumasi. This was after a closed-door meeting with the leadership of the various traders associations in Kumasi. The minister had commended them for calling off their strike and assured them that their grievances shall be channeled to the appropriate quarters for redress.
The aggrieved traders, made up of members of Traders Advocacy Group Ghana, Ghana Union of Traders Association, and Ashanti Business Owners Association, embarked on a week-long strike to press home their demands for the reduction of a 6% business levy and other charges they deem exorbitant by the Ghana Revenue Authority. The leadership of the trader groups on Friday held a closed-door meeting with the Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, to table their grievances. They indicated their readiness to work with the government to proffer sustainable solutions.
We are so much convinced by him, and we are expecting very good results out of the meeting today. Everything has been successful, and we've ordered our people to go and open their shops. Earlier on, yesterday, the Asante Hima sent a delegation to us. We met with them, and we show enough respect for the Queen Mother. And as you all know, this morning the shops started opening before even we had this meeting. So henceforth, there's no closure.
Charles Kusimen Takubi is Executive Secretary of the Edom Business Association.
Asante Hima intervened, had a meeting with us yesterday, and appealed to us to get our shops open. As the Queen Mother, we could not decline her request. So this morning, we talked to our members, and all our shops have been reopened.
Elvis Joe Okra is the protocol officer of the Ashanti Regional Branch of Trade Advocacy Group Ghana.
The whole situation started from GRA. They created this whole mess that we all find ourselves in now. However, the minister has assured us that he has already spoken with them, they've debated, and we've also given him some grievances that we think, if it's settled, business in the Ashanti region will go on smoothly.
The Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, assured the traders of government's commitment in creating an enabling environment for small and medium-scale businesses to thrive.
It's not everything I can address at my level. Some will have to move to the ministerial level for consideration. Some might even have to go as far as to Parliament if need be. So those we can settle at our level, we've done that. And I'm very, very grateful to them for the goodwill shown to us. And in fact, they were very respectful. They all spoke well. There were no casting of insinuation. There were no insults. And they've accepted it in good faith. It means that they meant well. Maybe they didn't mean any negative listing.
Meanwhile, the Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, has directed the GRA in the interim to withdraw their officers, while efforts are made to address the issues raised by the traders. The traders, on the other hand, have called off their week-long strike, and business activities have since commenced.
And from the Ashanti region, let's go global now and share some 3 facts about the FIFA World Cup. New Zealand is the only team to go unbeaten in the 2010 World Cup. And Germany's 1998 starting lineup versus Iran was the oldest ever fielded at a World Cup. And finally, the Indian team qualified for the 1950 World Cup in Brazil, but withdrew from the competition. Some interesting facts about the FIFA World Cup. Newsnight will return shortly.
The baby is supposed to be protected, and the baby is being beaten mercilessly. When even slave masters did not do that to us, then we should all worry about it. Because it's a baby today. Tomorrow, that child, if not well socialized, I can tell you, would meet out worse.
Welcome back to Newsnight. And the National Population Council has condemned the father of the child who was seen in a viral video molesting a baby. Executive Director Letitia Appiah says such abuses are on the increase because they go unpunished. She is advocating policies and programs that will not only minimize unintended waywardness and antisocial tendencies, but will reduce child abuse drastically.
This comes against the backdrop of a man in a circulated video abusing a toddler. The man is seen whipping the toddler in the presence of other men, while the little boy screamed in excruciating agony. None of the witnesses in the viral video made an attempt to rescue the victim. These incidents, according to the Executive Director of NPC, Dr. Letitia Appiah, has been happening across the country without any punitive measure to curb the situation. She said relevant productive and health programs are imperative in addressing population health and well-being.
Teenage pregnancy, child marriage, what is the essence? What is the purpose? For the girl, for the community, for the country? How does it benefit us? Everything we do should have a purpose. What is the reason and what are the benefits thereof? Would we rather have 2 nourished, educated children than 10 malnourished, uneducated? Today, one is in the Galamsey pit, another is in the police cells, another is on the streets, another you don't even know where he is.
She condemned the act and called for punitive measures to curb child abuse across the country. The executive director believes that child abuse is an affront to the fundamental rights of children and a threat to their present and future well-being.
Human dignity is so important. Human dignity from cradle to the grave is what all countries seek to achieve. All policies seek to protect that. And so if you have a baby in a home where the baby is supposed to be protected and the baby is being beaten mercilessly, when even slave masters did not do that to us, then we should all worry about it. Because it's a baby today. Tomorrow, that child, if not well socialized, I can tell you, would meet out worse things to others.
She, however, said the eradication of child abuse and torture from society needs collective involvement spearheaded by political will, showing the way.
You're on Newsnight, and let's talk about another form of abuse. About 34% of girls and women aged between 15 and 49 years experience physical or sexual violence with an intimate partner. 94% of Ghanaian children also suffer violent discipline. Now, UNICEF is concerned about the tendency and the reluctancy of victims to report abuse cases to the appropriate quarters. The international body says it is therefore putting in place measures that will motivate victims, particularly children, to have such matters reported. And as a result, they are setting up an ultra-modern victim interview rooms.
According to the United Nations Children Fund, less than 10% of women and girls who are abused whilst in intimate relationships are able to confidently report to the police. A few of such women are able to open up to family and relatives, whilst the larger percentage remain silent on the abuse. The data also suggests that there has been an increase in domestic abuse cases since the outbreak of COVID-19. In view of this, the organization is setting up modern interview rooms for for domestic abused children. Lucia Soliti is Chief Child Protection for UNICEF Ghana, whilst expressing concern about the reluctance of domestic violence survivors to report cases, said the interview rooms will boost the confidence of victims to open up to police.
The women and children interviewing rooms are designed and equipped in a way to reduce stress and support women and children to tell their stories in confidence and trust, and they will be heard in an environment that promotes confidentiality and privacy. Active participation of survivors in their cases is beneficial both for themselves and for the legal process.
On her part, the Director General of DOFSU, DCOP Elizabeth Dasa, admonished domestic violence survivors to report to the police.
The interview rooms have been set to create the environment, a special environment for the children to release to be able to be comfortable enough with experts to be able to tell us what it is that they have gone through, so that we can be able to help them. But some of them are highly traumatized with this consistent violence in the home.
And the Accra Metropolitan Assembly Task Force has been met with lots of confrontations and agitations after the team wrapped up the Ablekuma South operations and visited the Ododo-Diodio constituency as part of the Operation Clean Your Frontage strict enforcement. Shadrach Odame Jare was on the beat and has come through with the following report.
The strict enforcement of the Operation Clean Your Frontage initiative is ending today, Friday, in the Ablekuma South constituency. We have been through Choko, Chemu, and Tea Garden, and most parts of the Ablekuma South constituency. We have actually paid another surprise visit to the Ododo-Diodio constituency, where most households have been tasked to clear their various frontages. Subsequently, we saw our mayor visiting to also supervise the works that has been done so far. Today being the final day, she's back here with us on the grounds, doing the work together. What are the main challenges you have faced from last week to today?
In fact, my main challenges is one, disobedience, people being stubborn and unconcerned. And then the second one was they really understood the message, and yet they decided to do what they are willing to do. And then the third one, I'm thinking that it is important for them to take this heed as their baby and then abide by every instruction that we will tell them.
Just when the team was almost retiring for the day's work, some scuffle ensued between residents of Ododo-Diodio and the task force.
The task force should give us some time to relocate, not to make an announcement in the morning and return that very morning to surprise us. Government has not been able to fix our problems in this community. Is this initiative targeted at our businesses?
The coming week will see the continuation of the exercise in the Ayawaso enclave. Shadrach Odame Ejari for Metro News, Accra.
So let's stay in Accra because Mayor of Accra, Elizabeth Kwachu-Saki, is urging Ghanaians to adopt cleanliness as a way of life in order to help keep themselves healthy and strong. She was speaking during a cleanup exercise ahead of the Paramount Stew Yam Festival.
Officials of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, assisted by residents, cleaned communities within the Gamashin area and also sensitized the public on the need to keep the streets clean. The cleanup exercise attracted a large number of people who participated in desilting choked gutters, weeding and sweeping the environment. The exercise forms part of the AMA's support towards the upcoming Gamashin Yam Festival. Mayor of Accra, Elizabeth Kwachu-Saki, who led the cleanup exercise, urged residents within Gamashin not to dump refuse indiscriminately and urged all of them to be regular participants in the cleanup exercises.
We are pleading
with everyone to take part in the cleanup exercise. This can change the perception out there that Ghana is not clean.
And let's move on to other health issues. And eyes are the mirror of the soul, the main feature of the face that allows you to connect with your surroundings and to help you remain mentally sharp. However, little Abdul Rahman Tego does not have the luxury of seeing with both eyes, as one of them has been badly affected by cancer. His parents are therefore appealing to the general public to support them raise funds to save the other eye of their child from being infected with cancer.
9 months after he was born, parents of little Abdurrahman Tego noticed a sudden change in one of his eyes. Doctors diagnosed his condition as a cancer of the eye that affects the retina, the part of the eye which enables one to see. His father, Mustafa Tego, recounts how it all happened.
This is not the way he was born, but all of a sudden we found out he had eye cancer. My wife saw it and she told me when we went to the hospital, they said it's eye cancer. It's eye cancer, but the eye cancer, where it has developed from the right, and it has already spoiled the right hand side. So it left with the left one, which they have to save. So that is what we are looking at now, for the left one to be saved. But the whole thing is, it was on the medication. But for now, where it has gotten to, it involves a lot of money, which I can't afford.
His mother, Grace Butler, who had to quit her job in order to cater for her son, said the medication sometimes makes him weak.
And when we go to the hospital, sometimes the chemo that he received, the medicine is too hard for him. So when anytime you receive the medicine, now I am
the doctors say the medicine doesn't cure the cancer, but instead manages it. I had to stop work to dedicate more time to treat my son's illness.
Abdul Rahman needs to undergo an urgent procedure which costs about $15,000, which is equivalent to 160,000 Ghana cedis, to correct the deformity.
I never imagined cancer will affect me this badly. Please help my child.
Because someone no and tema na sonia say ebesen abanichirim so final.
Parents of the 2-year-old are appealing to individuals, government and non-governmental organizations for financial support.
I'm appealing to all Ghanaians that what is going on now on my boy is very serious to me, and I'm saying, the doctors are saying when they do it early, it will be better than wasting time on it. Because I don't have the money, still I've not done it. That is why I'm here today appealing to you, that you come out and help.
Anyone who is touched to support little Abdul can donate through mobile money wallet 055 34 34 050.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is proudly brought to you by Reflow's sanitary pad and baby pull-up diaper and Givers Floor and WC Cleaners.
Thorough News Night, and up next is some tidbits on breast cancer.
If you are undergoing cancer treatment, some foods you should avoid include lightly cooked fish, sushi, soft cooked eggs, or foods that contain raw eggs such as homemade mayonnaise, unpasteurized cheese, and dairy products.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is proudly brought to you by Reflow's sanitary pad and baby pull-up diaper and Givers Floor and WC Cleaners.
Looking ahead to some business news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and in business tonight, traders within the Kaneshie market are lamenting the effects of the rising cost of living and inflation on their work. A section of the traders who complain of incurring persistent losses have attributed the situation to rising cost of imports and the continuous depreciation of the cedi against major foreign currencies.
Awal Adam has been dealing in onion at the Kaneshie market for 37 years. He usually imports from Egypt and Morocco at a high cost because onions grown here are not of high quality. However, the ones from Egypt, he says, can go for 1 year without going bad.
This is sample of the Egypt sample. The onions from Egypt is this one. Yeah. Ghana on, I swear, if you are putting your money in Ghana onions, you can lose because Ghana on cannot strong.
Traders and business owners lament the impact of the increment of transportation fares on their business activities.
We are always running at a loss. Customers no longer buy our goods. We are pleading with government to reduce fuel prices.
First way, me 12 cedis ameje, bene 40 Ghana. First way, ne 2 cedi, bene 5 cedi. Sisi angu ma 2 cedi.
The prices of oil have gone up. We need government to intervene.
Abaniya ne eto ye, angu ne ye wa ha. Anwa no so anwa whole food. Ebi wa doko ye anwa no so bi wa ha. Sisi anwa 5 million. Ebro na kaya bata eduane be na ebro ye ntumi nto bi na wa like first say wo millet wo 3 million she be na 7 million.
Millet, beans, etc. have all gone up while we're finding it difficult to get customers to buy them.
Traders have no option than to pass the cost on to consumers.
Transport fares need to be reduced, otherwise we'll keep passing the cost to the customers. The price of these goods last year was 500 cedis. Today, it's more than that.
10 million.
Ghana's inflation has hit nearly 37.2% for September, the highest in the last 2 decades, as citizens lament the rising cost of living.
And the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, has commended the private sector for its immense support in saving the Ghanaian economy in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war.
About 100 companies were awarded by the Ghana Investment Promotion Center for their consistency over the years, despite the threat of COVID-19 in the 19th edition of Ghana Club 100 Awards. Senior advisor to President Akufo-Addo, Yao Osafo-Maafo, said the country will recover from the global shocks if there are more investments into the Ghanaian economy by the private sector.
We must follow the theory of private sector leading the development of our economy. We really don't have any other alternative. The private sector, we've said, should be the engine of growth. We believe in it, and we should do all we can to promote it. What I have witnessed today, after all this crisis, I am most encouraged that indeed the private sector shall be the engine of growth and shall continue to lead our development in this part of the world.
Chief Executive Officer of JIPC, Yofi Grant, urged companies to take advantage of opportunities presented by the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Because of some of the things that are happening in the world, new relationships are being formed, new partnerships are being sought, new markets are being looked for, and Ghana remains extremely attractive to foreign direct investors. I'm seeing a lot more people coming to inquire about what they can do and how they can do it because they are finding their traditional markets tough. And they realize that Africa, and perhaps Ghana, is a very good place to start business and grow into the African continent. And I did mention, you have a continent that has 1.4 billion people, has almost all the resources that are required for energy transitions, and yet has all the land that is required to feed the world. This is a place where investments are going to grow.
A fintech company, ZPay Ghana, was adjudged the best company in Ghana for the 19th edition of the awards.
And up next is the sports news of the day. And beginning the segment tonight, the mayor of Accra, Elizabeth Saki, has donated assorted items and an undisclosed amount of money to Accra House of Folk to boost the team's morale ahead of the second leg encounter of the Confederations Cup against AS Real Bamako of Mali. Board member of the team.
We are going to be competitive. We are going to do our best. We are playing against a team that beat us 3-0 just a week ago. So we will do our best. We'll concentrate on our training, try to put out our best, be competitive, and then we'll see what happens.
Now you show on cramp. Now we are my Matthias since you say, yet town one cheap na football or mobile bono. Mawa moon share say first one I yenti, and there were more bono biara. Na yet tower chinty ye bumpire aboa one say. Omodi won ahun da meka me he wale fen batwa na nim say eye den a this very one the game here nyame denti omo bedin kunim.
In an attempt to further develop and promote the game of basketball among girls and young ladies in the country, the Ghana Basketball Association, in partnership with a number of organizations, including the Ghana Anesthetist Society, has organized a one-day clinic on the campus of the University of Ghana. Atuvan S. is the president of the Ghana Basketball Association.
The program is specifically for girls. Globally, FIBA and Ghana Basketball want to promote female basketball, and you have to start from very little ones. So this clinic is for 6-year-olds to 15-year-olds. We don't have the time to call the experts, so we would have to step in. And in doing this program, and sometimes when we are playing the leagues, it happens. So we are trying to start this promotion, this education. And that's why we have the Ghana Anesthetists Association here to take our girls, even at this tender age, through the basic life support, so that we just don't want them to grow before. Anything can happen. It can just be in the room with a little girl, and if something happens, what does she do? At least she has got the education here, and she can do it. Down.
And now the Accra Sports Stadium will be the venue on Sunday where Premier Club Accra House of Folk will welcome the Malian counterparts Real Bamako in the second leg of the CAF Confederations Cup match. The Phobians lost the first leg 3-0 in the Malian capital. However, a former House of Folk player and now coach of Accra Great Olympics, Yao Prekun, believes the Rainbow team can overturn the match scores.
Can do it. The energy, like I said it, I keep saying the energy of Accra House of Folk supporters is different. You know, look, when you come to Accra Sports Stadium, when you're playing against House of Folk, the energy under the wings, what's the name, the VIP down, the energy of the supporters is different when you're playing Kotoko in Kumasi. Kotoko in Kumasi, the supporters are a bit far from the so the energy. The away team doesn't really feel the pressure. That is it. But Accra Sports Stadium is a different ball game altogether. Hearts can do it, and they need the supporters. The boys, they need the supporters, and with the energy of the supporters, trust me, they can overturn the 3-0.
If you have the opportunity to speak to the new coach or probably the manager, what would they tell them that you think is an advice that will help them to turn the teams around?
Have confidence in the boys. Have confidence in the boys. That's all. Have confidence in everyone.
They're exhibiting the never say die spirit in the Phobians. You're watching Newsnight. We have international news up next.
"41 people have died following an explosion in a coal mine in northern Turkey. The discovery of the final missing body brings the rescue operation to an end more than 20 hours after Friday's deadly blast. Earlier, the Interior Minister Suleiman Solu said 58 people working in the mine when the blast went off were rescued or got out by themselves. UK's newly elected Chancellor says some taxes will go up, while government spending may need to fall. It said he had a clean slate after Prime Minister Liz Truss sacked Kwesi Kwarteng and announced another mini-budget U-turn on Friday. Hunt, a former foreign secretary who had not been part of Truss's cabinet, was made Chancellor on Friday as the Prime Minister sought to restore confidence in her government. Speaking in his first media interview since becoming Chancellor, Hunt signalled a big shift away from the economic policies of the former Prime Minister and his predecessor. Ukraine's state energy operator has urged Kyiv residents to cut down on electricity use in the evenings after a Russian missile strike disabled a power installation near the capital. Officials said power has been restored across Ukraine earlier after Russian missiles hit energy infrastructure. The request was not confirmed to Kyiv.
You're watching News Tonight, and let's take a look at our closing headlines. Stakeholders welcome President Akufo-Addo's decision to suspend the DCE for Bosomi Frehun for his alleged involvement in illegal mining activities in his area. Business bounces back at Elum as traders reopen shops after meeting with Ashanti Regional Minister, who assures them that their concerns will be addressed. On the foreign front, new UK Chancellor Jeremy Hunt warns of tax rises and squeeze on spending as he takes over from Kwesi Kwarteng. And for more news, you can log on to metrotvonline.com. That's your 8 for this edition of News Night. I'm Isa Morning, and thank you for your time, and thanks to everyone in the newsroom for making it real good. Good night.